Well, that's unlucky for you. Thanks very much for the kind introduction, Henry. I'd like to say first of all, it's how nice it is to see so many of the guys here dressed in traditional Scottish Highland costumes. I've read a lot about Culloden over the years, but I don't remember anyone turning up in jeans and a pair of Adidas Samba trainers. I'm also, happy to note that the people who take most offence at this speech are barricaded in behind that table over there and can't march out, so that's good. So you just have to stay there and be done with it. So thanks very much for the kind invitation to speak at the Broomhill Tennis Club Burns Supper. It is an honour and a privilege to be asked to toast the lasses, and I'm sure, gentlemen, you'll agree how wonderful they all look tonight. And also a good evening to Annette, who we'll hear from later on. Annette Garrick, who will reply on behalf of the lasses. I'm looking forward to hearing Annette speak, because what she doesn't know about Burns isn't worth knowing. And what a CV she has. President of various clubs, so that she's been in charge of more clubs than Sam Allardyce from all accounts. She's only recently arrived back in her native Glasgow from Helensburgh, which as we all know is the birthplace of another great Scot, John Moulton. So at least you'll be guaranteed a good reception, if nothing else. She ran a bridge club for 20 years. Never actually had dinner with a bridge player. Did have dinner with a chess grandmaster last night, but took about 40 minutes to pass the salt. So I'm delighted to. Sorry, there's people over there as well. You might not have noticed there's folk in this.
Cheap seats.
Where did I get to? So I'm delighted to be asked to play a part tonight's event. A little bit surprised as well, because my English teacher said that because of my dyslexia, I'd be no use at poetry. Well, the fact that I've made 3 vases and a jug, you can get it around you, Mr. Barr. But what a wonderful year 2019 is for the lasses of Scotland, particularly a big event in 2019, the Women's World Cup that Scotland have qualified for the first time. I'm very careful not to make any disparaging Tam Cowan-like comments about this, because I know John Beattie came in a wee while ago, and his daughter obviously plays for the national team, and he could pick me up and throw me out the window if he wanted to. Hey! But so well done to Shelley Kerr and the team. So guys, not only are the women smarter than us, better looking than us, they're now better at football than us as well. That is a bit of a kick in the stones, to be quite honest. My first recollection of a female on the sports field was as a wee boy watching someone called Erica Rowe. I don't remember her. She was a streaker. But things have obviously moved on since then. Actually, did anyone see that really disturbing bit in Jordan Hill Watch last night about the streaker in Victoria Park? You don't see that? No. The streaker ran bollock naked through Victoria Park. 3 elderly ladies witnessed this. 2 had a stroke and 1 couldn't reach. Women's football, in all seriousness, is a subject close to my heart, and I'll tell you why. Because my wife Lynn over there, our first date, she turned up in some tracksuit bottoms and a pair of gloves. And I thought, she's a keeper. It is amazing when you think that Robert Burns died 70 years before the first ever game of football ever took place, which is quite remarkable. So it pretty much means, you know, he's seen Partick Thistle win the league the same number of times as the rest of them. But I'm sure he would be very proud of the Scottish women's national team, and if he was still alive, I'm pretty sure he'd congratulate them all individually in his own special way. So I hope the team do well. I'm kind of dreading it when it comes on the telly because my wife's going to be kind of, you know, hogging the remote control every bloody night, and I'm going to have to watch Call the Midwife and Catch Up. About to Weight Watchers while she's watching the game. Coming home and walking on eggshells in case, you know, did they get pumped? You know, has she been drinking? Bottles of Prosecco flying all over the room. I think that's a Prosecco, one of the Italian wingers. Got a real sparkle to her game, and she likes to fist it all in from way there. But actually, in all seriousness, there's no way that Lynn and I will be watching the game, the match at the same time, because she'll keep forgetting, you know, asking me to explain the offside rule, and I'll keep having to explain that it's a bit like, you know, in pre-mark when somebody appears at the counter and they've come in from the wrong way, you know, and the crowd themselves, you know, I think there's a glass coming in my direction. But it would be easy for me to stand up here and slag off women's football. Anyway. I'm quite keen to see how the referees got on and whether the referees will be female as well, because especially if there's a contentious decision and they've got to consult VAR, Vicky and Rachel. Just imagine it. Hi, you watching the football? No. I don't blame you. So what have you been up to? No. See, anyway, enough of that. So we're here to talk about Burns as well, in case you've forgotten. And on the subject of VAR, I wonder whether Robert Burns had goal line technology in mind when he wrote the words 9 inches will please a lady. It's goal line technology we're talking about. He looks disgusting. But at least the World Cup in the summer might take our minds off Jordan Hill Watch for a minute or two. I take it one or two of you have been on the site. I've personally given up because I think it's getting a little bit too pornographic. No, seriously, there was an elderly lady posted recently asking if someone would come and trim her bush. Right, I know. It was before the watershed. I can't believe I read that. But it's no wonder the teenagers have infiltrated the site. You know, they probably think it is actually a porn site. And on the subject of teenagers and porn, I'd like to thank Angus Thorburn for asking me to come along and speak tonight. Angus, of course, is a retired biology teacher, and he played a big part in pushing my own son towards a part-time job in the fast food industry. I think it was during a lesson in contraception when he said, "Remember, Sam, and wrap your whopper well." You know? Anyway, I digress. How can I toast the lasses without dwelling on Scotland's foremost ladies' man, philanderer, swordsman of international standing, Frank McAvenny? As was already mentioned, or almost mentioned, I am an editor at the Scottish Sun. So I do a little bit of writing, but mainly I deal with other people's words. And one of my weekly highlights is getting my hands on Frank's column. Come on! What I mean is, once a week, Frank's column will appear in front of me and I'll have to give it a wee tweak. I mean, edit it. And occasionally, if Frank can't be arsed, I'll just write the thing for him. And if I'm feeling very generous, I might let him read it before it goes in the paper. But we do share ideas for the column. For example, tomorrow I suggested that he wax lyrical on Winston Churchill's flawed characteristics and whether they should be swept under the carpet, but how the nation still owes him an enormous debt for all he achieved in winning the war and defeating Hitler. And Frank agreed, but he also wondered whether we should do a wee bit about how he wants to hump Christy Brinkley because she's just turned 65. So it's a joint effort. Frank, for those of you who don't remember him, was a footballer for Celtic, West Ham and Scotland, and he scored the goal which took the Scottish national team to the World Cup in Mexico in 1986. He was a centre forward, although I think, to be honest, he preferred to play in the hole, in between midfield and the forwards. You invited the man. It's a mucky lot. But like Burns, Frank was obviously, he was a Scottish hero with a penchant for lasses. But when he weaved his way around defenders, he was poetry in motion. A modern day Robert Burns indeed. Or maybe Burns was the Frank McAvenny of his day. After all, he scored with breathtaking frequency, and he was heard to ask, "Where's the maidens?" But back to the toast tonight and matters at hand, and I'm delighted to be asked to do this. I consider myself a pretty modern man. I mean, I'm quite happy, as I proved recently, to go into a shop and buy tampons for my wife. Not that I get any thanks for it, because apparently they're not a proper present. I shouldn't actually poke fun. I shouldn't poke fun at my wife because she's very anxious at the moment with all this Brexit stuff. She's been so worried. She's been at the prospect of Britain leaving without a deal. She's been stockpiling all these dirty dishes and washing. I'm a wee bit concerned. She opened the curtains this morning and then told me she could see Suggs walking up the garden path. They say that's the first sign of madness.
Oh, dear me.
She get dressed tonight in this real slinky number. She looked great going down the stairs. On a sad note, a friend of mine met this Dutch girl with inflatable shoes last week. Strange things happen. Anyway, he phoned her up to arrange a date, but sadly she'd popped her clogs. Only discovered recently that Google was invented by a woman. Have you noticed how it doesn't let you finish a sentence without making a suggestion? Right, I've wasted enough of your time in this inane drivel. So, in all seriousness, I would like to draw a comparison between Robert Burns and another great Scottish sporting hero. Not Frank McAvenny, but Andy Murray. And I think there is, in fact David touched on this, there is a particular relevance. His mum was obviously a champion here years ago. Andy will be remembered for all his great achievements on the court, but it was the way he stood up for women's sport time and time again in recent interviews and on social media, which has endeared him to a lot of people who maybe hadn't been Andy Murray fans prior to that. So why the Burns comparison here, you ask? Do I hear you asking?
Why the Burns comparison?
Thank you. I'm actually glad you asked that. I mean, Burns made Harvey Weinstein look like Alan Carr. He fathered children on an industrial scale. 12 to 5 different women. There might have been more, but Jeremy Kyle wasn't around in those days with his DNA test and his lie detector. Actually, there's a great idea for a show. Can you imagine Burns on Jeremy Kyle? Was Suit Up Johnny the Randy wee bastard? Suitor Johnny's denying everything and he takes a lie detector test. Anyway, I can't say with 100% certainty, but I do have a sneaky suspicion that Robert Burns wasn't what you might call a hands-on dad. You know, cutting about the streets of Ayr with a papoose, you know, with little Bobby Junior. So hardly someone who would stand up for women's rights, or was he? I mean, are we misjudging him? Was he actually a trailblazer for the feminist movement? A kind of hashtag Me Too a moose? You only have to look at some of his work for the answer. There was, of course, the poem The Rights of the Woman, which was groundbreaking in its day, and I think Annette's going to talk about that a little shortly. But Burns once said, and I quote, "I never had the least thought nor inclination of turning poet until I got heartily in love, and then the rhyme and the song came spontaneously, the language of my heart." And, you know, beautiful words indeed, and he made no secret that he believed women to be the superior species. And he said again, I quote, "Mother Nature, her apprentice hand she tried on man, and then she made the lasses old. The finest hours that e'er I had were spent among the lasses old." And so say all of us. Gentlemen, I'm coming towards the end here, so I'm sure you will agree it's an honour tonight to be in the company of some wonderful women. I would ask you all to be upstanding and raise a glass in the hope that they bring the World Cup back from France. To the lassies. Thank you very much.